series. The following broadcast is a JCTV production.
Welcome everybody to the Di9 Designs NAOR series here on JCTV. We are live at the Charlotte Roval 2018 version. I am Josh Coppernell. I'm joined in the booth by Adam Kuhn. Adam, how are you doing?
Good evening, Josh. I'm doing well. Excited to be back here in the booth tonight for this race. One thing you pointed out there, I'm glad that you mentioned it. You mentioned this to me about 10 minutes ago when we started getting ready for this broadcast. 2018 version of the Charlotte Roval tonight, Josh. It's going to be pretty interesting to see. We're going to have a pretty interesting view of things tonight, how these guys are going to have to navigate that back straightaway chicane, because it is a lot different from how it is currently constructed and built now than it was in the inaugural version of this race back in 2018, like we mentioned.
So I'll tell you what, I actually was lucky enough to be able to be at this race in real life. Very first race, 2018 version of the race. It was amazing to be there. And as of right now, the only time I've been to Charlotte, that'll change next weekend. But you know, it was such an awesome race, such an awesome time, a great experience, and I've always wanted to go back to Charlotte, whether it was for the 600 or for another local race. But this race right here, this is what we're talking about tonight, and we've got some road course ringers in the field, and then our series regulars, and it seems like the ringers are really showing up. And, they're looking pretty fast so far.
Yeah, one of those ringers, I think we would say Austin J. McGill in the 5th position. He's always strong on road races, and I don't know if we can consider him a ringer because he's appeared in other races before, and really recently also in the Di9 Designs NAOR series. But Michael Kruger right there in that 3rd position, of course. We're big fans of Mikey in that 98 car tonight, and pretty curious what he's going to be able to do.
So one thing about Austin J. McGill, you know, going back talking about him is, you know, from what I understand, road courses really are his thing. But you did talk about, you know, other road courses that been a struggle for him back on Slide Job. Now, I don't believe you were there for the race. I think it was just Jonathan Canfield and I, but last season, the NAOR series visited Suzuka in a doubleheader. Austin J. McGill, making his first start, won the race. And then he, in the second race of the doubleheader, finished 2nd.
Yeah, you're right. I was not there for that broadcast, but I've watched it back a couple times, putting a few clips together for Fastlane programs, and that performance he put on in that 2nd race was pretty exciting to see. That 1st race was phenomenal, though, because he just did it off a pit strategy, and both you and Canfield were just dumbfounded at the ability he had of making the tires last with it. I believe it was just a 2-stop strategy, and even though he bled lap time to his competitor, he knew he just had to wheel it into a certain wheelhouse range to get it home into one piece and keep that victory. So it was just mind games that race at Suzuka, as he gets a lot of curb there off that final corner. I believe it's turn 17, just abused the Toyota and wiped out the front of that clip of that race car.
just out of watching practice go by through this bus stop back here, a lot of people have struggled. See Ethan Fonseca Moreno through the bus stop. And,
no, I didn't. No, I really didn't. Whoa, Michael!
Yeah, he got the turtles quite a bit there. I think, you know, with this being so, now some of you may be asking, you know, what is really the difference between 2018 version of this race or this track, and it is this chicane right here. NASCAR, of course, after this race, made the chicane deeper and a lot slower. Because drivers were absolutely just flying through here. You see Austin J. McGill there fishtailing a bit. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. I quickly threw this camera up here. Got a camera guy to hold the camera and hopefully survive with no catch fence right here in this part of the track. But I think this is going to be a good view tonight.
Yeah, you mentioned hopefully a camera guy survives as we see one go head on to that tire barrier there and just get sucked into the wall and come to a complete stop. And Ethan Fonseca Moreno doesn't slow him down and he hops the turtles there. And this is going to be the danger zone tonight, Josh. You mentioned everyone kind of having struggles through here. As another good driver completely yawing out that rear of that race car to make it through there. This is where we're going to see a lot of trouble, Josh. And it's going to be hectic on the start because everyone's going to be all grouped up together at that point still in the lap, and it's really just going to be a funnel. It's really going to be interesting to see how it's going to play out in that opening lap and the rest of the race, because it doesn't get any easier even if you're by yourself. It's just a little bit more breathing room. That's the only difference.
Alrighty, a little over a minute left. Adam, who is your pick to win tonight?
Man, it's so hard to pick for this race. I think it's going to be really an interesting race with everything on stake tonight, with the possibilities of this racetrack. It's so difficult to get around here one lap clean, and damages are just going to rack up on these guys' cars pretty quick, I think. So I'm gonna go with the 20 of Hunter Peach. I think he's gonna try and survive and make it to the end.
And I see we have another guy joining us here tonight, Jonathan Canfield. Not sure if he is ready or not. Canfield, you there?
I am here. I'm loading up the session right now, but I'm watching the nice little screen share that Josh has warranted us here tonight. So I'm looking at the times. But I like the driver you're looking at right now. I believe that might be Michael Kruger.
That is Kruger, yes.
But I'd be wrong if I didn't choose somebody that I team with every once in a while. So I picked him once when we were on a road course with this specific series, and he got the job done. So I'm gonna go with him again. I'm gonna take Austin McGill here.
That's a pretty solid pick there, as practice has come to a conclusion, and we go into qualifying. So, just before I give my pick, I do want to say Michael Kruger, of course, showing in the sim as number 98. The number on his car is 99, so not to get confused with McGill, who you picked there. So, you know, my pick, I pick him a lot, and I'm going to pick him again. I kept saying, once he gets that first win, I think he's going to be hard to stop. He's been fast in practice, and the only person to beat him has been Jonathan Parker in practice so far. But even Fonseca Moreno, he was really practicing long run where I think Parker had. So I think Ethan might have a little bit of advantage, and I'm going to pick Ethan to take the race win. And have 2 wins on JCTV in less than a week. Let's watch this number 6, Nick Kapiak. Really good driver in the Di9 Designs NAOR series. I say that, and he runs over the grass there through the front stretch chicane. Infield section of this track. Kapiak doing a great job now. Going through that chicane where he went through the grass last time, but it's going to be much better this time around. And Kapiak goes P3. It's currently Braden Holt with the top spot, Austin James Gill P2. Jonathan Parker, he was fast in practice. He's coming off NASCAR 4 and onto the chicane. And that was just his warm-up lap. Back here to Ethan Fonseca Moreno, and I do promise this is his first lap. He has been out there for a little bit. Getting down through the gears. And Ethan Fonseca Moreno is going to go top of the board. A 1:16.139 so far out of Moreno. Kapiak is going to cross the line and go P3. A little bit of an improved time.
Didn't get up on those blue turtles though, Josh, through that back straightaway chicane.
Might help this time. Oh, sliding. P1. Michael Kruger to P4. See if Ethan can improve, take over that top spot. Ethan's gonna go P1, a 1:15.515. on board with Jonathan Parker. We'll see. He is a little under 2/10 back. He will not get it. He improves, though. Michael Kruger will not improve. Jose Ruiz crosses the line. And that was his warm-up lap, so... will be his first qualifying lap. Was sliding there, though. Josh Arnold crossing the line, finish up qualifying. Arnold's going to go P12. So right now, the only driver on track to be qualifying is going to be Jose Ruiz. Ethan Fonseca-Moreno's still out there. Turned in some practice laps, but his qualifying laps are complete, so it's just Ruiz with any chance to get a time down here. 15 drivers have taken a qualifying time so far in this race. And there are 2 minutes left in qualifying. Ruiz locked up just a little bit there. I think he recovered pretty well. P16 for Ruiz after his first lap. 121.6. Canfield. I don't know if you have noticed, Adam and I have already talked about it though. This is the 2018 version of Charlotte with the very fast backstretch bus stop there. And, you know, like I said, Adam and I have already talked about it, but I want to know what your opinion is on that there.
Well, I mean, I noticed it right away as I was watching your Vantage Point, Josh, but also even now that I've loaded in and watched a lot of people put down some laps, seems like you really got to not be afraid. The cars actually seem like they like the turtles through that section, so you just kind of got to go full send into there and not be afraid to let the car jump around a little bit and just hope you come out straight on the other side, but I remember a couple scary accidents happening from this chicane, so we'll see if we have any of those here tonight.
Qualifying is complete, and we are about to head to the grid. So, starting on the pole is Ethan Fonseca-Moreno, my pick to win. Jonathan Parker going to start on the outside of row 1 beside Moreno. Braden Holt will start in P3. Michael Kruger will start 4th. And Nick Hapiak will start tonight's race in 5th place. Adam?
Terrence Cheney is going to start in the 6th position with Pacey Wygant rolling off in 7th. Austin J. McGill is going to start 8th. Hunter Peach is going to roll off in row number 5 with John Osborne rounding out the top 10 positions. Jonathan?
Emil Hawkins is going to start in the 11th position with Josh Arnold starting in the 12th position. Zachary Wright going to pick up that 13th spot with Jose Ruiz in the 14th spot. And then Cole Snyder is going to finish up your top 15 and just running down the rest of the order. 16th is going to go to Jimmy Mensch. 17th is going to be Mike Campbell. 19th to Brian Underwood. 20th is going to go to Zachary Meredith. 18th. I'm going out of order, but that's because I'm reading off of iRacing. 18th is going to be Justin Quimby. 21st, Noah Blackwell. And 22nd, Joshua Kreider.
They're having a couple of drivers that have pulled out of this race. Zachary Meredith is under the weather, so he did not want to race in this race. A couple of others that have pulled out of this race as well. So we'll see here as things shake up who towards the back is really starting where, but that's kind of what the sim has for now. So 50 laps here, and if you're familiar with cautions, or not cautions, but iRacing and road courses, there really is not cautions on road courses unless if they're admin thrown. And even then, they're very rare. Well, tonight, you know, there is an eye in the sky, and if he feels like there is necessity for caution, we'll see cautions tonight. And, you know, I'm not a betting man, but if I were to say where I think a caution might come, I'm going to say that backstretch bus stop or chicane back there is probably going to be a very good a spot to place some money on.
Yeah, I agree, Josh. That's definitely going to be, like we talked about in practice in the inner qualifying there. That's going to be definitely a pretty hairy spot for all these guys to navigate and try to negotiate under these green flag conditions, especially like I mentioned on that restart, on the initial start of the race, I should say.
So not too long ago, in Slide Job on Tuesday night, we were at Watkins Glen, which was last week, and Ethan Fonseca Moreno, he started second, but he led the first 8 laps. They had a competition caution then, and he never saw the lead again, but he was close until he wasn't when Dylan Parker was running away with it. Ethan still finished the race second. He is a very good road course racer. Just, again, still has yet to really get that win. Of course, he did win last week in the Pit News Truck Series. That was at Iowa. We'll see what he could do here tonight at the Charlotte Roval. Jonathan Parker, 3 wins in the first 4 races. The only other guy to take a win is Pacey Wygen, the 00 starting P7 tonight. Pace car is in pit road. And green flag is in the air. Even start for these top 2. It made it through turn 1 all right, though. Michael Kruger goes to P3. Oh, Nick Kapiak sliding.
Wow, Jonathan Parker got a lot of curb there going to turn 5. Going to go uphill here and then right back down here as they go back towards the oval, and we go a little bit deeper in the field. Jamil Hawkins on the inside there going through turn 6. And Jonathan Parker, 0.4 of a second behind Ethan Moreno as they go back onto the oval here.
Oh, Nick Kapiak! Lost Jay McGill also was down there on the apron. Kapiak still on the apron trying to find his way up. It's going to be just ahead of Jimmy Mensch. Ethan Fonseca Moreno, he does lead the first lap. And right here, Jonathan Parker under pressure from the number 98 of Michael Kruger.
We've seen this song and dance before, but last time we seen it was not on a road course. It was at Iowa on a very tough oval between these two. So we know they know how to race each other closely. Sadly, that night it wound up with one mistake, ended up taking one of the drivers out of the equation, but good to see them already getting back to close quarters battling here on this road course.
You know, this is what I love, all right? So there was a lot of issues last season in the Independent News Truck Series where some drivers were not very happy with Jonathan Parker. And Michael Kruger was not one of them. Kruger and Parker, they trust each other a lot. They raced each other so much. We saw in the Independent News Truck Series and have transitioned over here to the Di9 Designs NAOR Series. So these two, they race each other a lot. They trust each other. And they were, Kruger going to get into that grass and hit the wall, but you know, as I was about to say, they were even practicing together coming into this race. So those two, they are really fun to watch race together and always put on a great show. Kruger, he's falling into the clutches of Brayden Holt.
Oh, speaking of falling into clutches, Ethan Moreno needs to get on the horse and hightail it because he's fallen into the clutches of that 92, and we all know what happens when we see this happen to Ethan. We've seen it happen multiple times. Hopefully this time Ethan's able to actually fend off this 92.
Yeah, I wanted to get with Dawson Allen, one of our JCTV statisticians here, and track the stats on how many times these two have finished 1-2 in general, because every time they finished 1-2, it's had to be on JCTV, so it's been phenomenal, but it's been a one-sided story, really, with who's been going to victory lane every time, and you guys have mentioned it. Ethan Fonseca Moreno getting his first victory finally last weekend at Iowa Speedway in the Independent News Truck Series, but as he goes wide there through turn 3, trying to break through in every other league he competes in, and the guy breathing down his neck right now is his strongest competitor and one of his closest rivals on the track.
Adam, you say closest rival, but really these two are about as good of friends as you can imagine.
Yeah,
they
close rival as in close. Yes, but rivals.
They work together a lot. I think I've said this before here on JCTV, but these two work together a lot. It makes Parker happy to see Ethan running up front, and I'm sure Parker was ecstatic when Ethan won that race. So it's cool to see them compete out on track, but just knowing Jonathan Parker and even having the couple of conversations I've had with Ethan, these two both were ecstatic for that win that Ethan got, and I think they'd be just as ecstatic if they could both finish 1-2 here tonight, no matter the order.
Back here, Nick Kapiak. He has continued to struggle here side by side just behind Pacey Wige and Hunter Beach. And make that almost 3 wide there as Jimmy Mensch was coming into the picture. A lot of drivers struggling early in this race.
Up front, we've had a pass for the lead.
And Jonathan Parker has gotten around Ethan Moreno. And Moreno gets those turtles hard.
Wow, he did a phenomenal job hanging onto that car and not spinning it. Pretty similar like what we saw Nick Hapiak do earlier, collecting Austin McGill, but like I said earlier, not on the start, so a little bit more spread out and didn't take anyone with him, but he had incredible car control there once he got over those turtles guys and trying to save that race car from making it a much worse situation.
I think that's a key that we don't touch on enough here with road courses. It's all about damage control, more or less, than what it is actually putting down quick times. Moreno putting down quick times still, but man, that one mistake, look at how much time it cost him to Jonathan Parker, almost falling all the way back now into the clutches of Michael Kruger. Just damage control, minimize your mistakes, and right now the 92 is doing a good job of that, and we've seen a big one there from Moreno.
Pile up into Hartburn's turn. Hunter Peach had a moment. See if we can get a replay on that. Just got those turtles, and that piled them in.
Oh yeah, and he hit that wall way past those tire barriers, so he hit the concrete wall right on, and you see all that damage to the right front of that Toyota.
Moreno having to yield the position to Michael Kruger. I'm wondering if Moreno maybe missed the chicane a little bit, had to serve a small time penalty. So that's going to put Michael Kruger in P2. And Braden Holt has fallen off. Must have had a little bit of an issue as well.
Got a good battle going for the 5th spot right now between Jamil Hawkins and Kenneth Cheney. They've been kind of glued to each other for the last couple laps. Jamil's right there just looking for an opening to get a run into a corner or a good passing zone to get around the 76. Cheney doing his best to just fend off this 4 car, that Days of Thunder Cold Trickle car.
Running in the 6th position, guys, one thing to... Oh, right in front of him, Kenneth Cheney misses the last part of that front straightaway chicane and went through the grass there a little bit, but and had to yield a little bit more time. But looking at the field and the gaps everyone has, look at this disparity right now. Braden Holt has a 10-second gap on Cheney, and that's just from 4th to 5th.
I do want to apologize for my little bit of silence there. I was just reading a message about somebody who is in the hospital. But anyway, yeah, there is a lot of space between a lot of drivers. You really see who's struggling here, and these top 4. Parker, Kruger, Moreno, and Holt. They're all really fast, and they're still all really close to each other. Casey Wygant has caught the 6th of Nick Capiak. Wygant trying to get into the 9th position. Oh, and Zachary Wright struggling there through the chicane.
Back up front, Jonathan Parker already getting into some lap traffic, trying to deal with 3 of Justin Quimby. Makes easy work of that 3 car. Put Justin Quimby a lap down now.
Yeah, and he's slowly extending that gap back to Michael Kruger right now. It's just now up to 4 seconds of a gap between first and second.
Yeah, Jonathan Parker, he is right now just putting on a clinic, doing a great job. Yeah, I know I was talking to Parker a little bit in practice. He said that he's not sure why he's so fast. He's horrible on road courses, but you know, we see time and time again where though he says he's bad at road courses, he still runs up front and is right there with the leaders. Right here, beating 2 of the best that we have seen on JCTV.
Ooh. A battle for 6 I've been watching is getting hairy between Austin McGill and Jamil Hawkins. McGill just almost missed that front straightaway chicane after Hawkins jumped over the turtles on the back straightaway chicane to allow McGill to catch him.
And the 2 almost collided heading towards turn 2, excuse me, Josh. But yeah, Austin McGill is going to take that position right now for the time being.
Austin McGill pulling away just a little bit from Jamil Hawkins so far. But McGill, he's worked his way to 6th place. Here's a group of drivers. Cole Snyder, John Osborne, Josh Arnold, and Jose Ruiz, not too far behind. John Osborne got the turtles a little bit there. So 14 drivers still on the lead lap. Quimby and Hapiak 1 lap down. Hapiak actually about to go 2 laps down. He is sitting in 5th row. Oh, and we actually have trouble. It is Josh Arnold. Kind of stopped in that little short chute area there in the infield section.
Yeah, I believe this is off turn. I believe that's turn 4. It's off of. Going to get back going. I don't see much damage to that front of that 22 though.
No sliding there. He's going to recover.
Yeah, tires are hot from that slide. You can't get back into it too quickly, especially in this car with the package that it has. It'll just slide the tires very easily. Is another car having issues there?
Jimmy Mensch. And that was right in front of Osborne, Ruiz, and Snyder. Of course, last time we looked at these guys, Snyder was ahead of these 2. Snyder's lost a couple of positions. Put Snyder, well, in 13th position, as Osborne and Ruiz going to be 10th and 11th now. The couple of issues we've already seen. Jimmy Mensch bringing it down pit road.
Yeah, we'll wonder what happened to that 94 car to make him lose all those positions. Well, at least something with that back straightaway chicane, as we just saw one car go a little bit wide. I believe that was that John Osborne in 2 and 3 there? Yeah, it was. He's still continuing to go wide a little bit right here in 2 and 5 with Jose Ruiz, right there tucked up behind him.
Now, something I think that Warren's being talked about as, wow, almost chaos right there through that chicane.
Look at Cole Snyder getting himself a 2 for 1.
How about that? But something I think Warren's being talked about is we don't know how long these guys can go on fuel exactly. But something to be talked about is the time gained and lost on pit road that we've already seen at a road course with this league before. One of the drivers in the field actually took advantage of a strategy call just a season ago. Oh, Cole Snyder's going to spin it around.
Oh, close call with Josh Allen driving by right there.
24 gets it back going, but man, the position he lost. That is going to be big time for that 24. It's like these guys don't want me to talk about pit strategy or something. But the driver we seen last year take advantage of that on a road course is in the field here tonight. Austin McGill able to stretch his tires at, I believe we were at Suzuka.
Yes.
And took fuel only. Now, I don't envision that being the case here tonight with these cars. But if there was a driver that I was going to bet on that I know has plenty of road course experience and would play the game, it would be that 99. And another driver I could throw in that category would maybe even be the 43, as Cole Snyder going for jumps again through the chicane. But I'd throw Ethan Moreno under that blanket. I'd throw Austin McGill in there. And if any of these guys could get some track position, I'd maybe even throw Jamil Hawkins in there too. Another guy I've seen get aggressive with pit strategy. I think with the drivers we have on track right now, pit strategy is going to get interesting. I don't know if you need 4. I don't know if you take 4. Or if you just do a splash and go and hope you can make it. But we've seen that play an effect in a road course race last season. I expect nothing different tonight from any of these drivers. Somebody's going to take a chance.
Well, I was watching there. The number 24, Cole Snyder, was just ahead of your race leader, Jonathan Parker, and I was wondering if he was going to let Parker by pretty quickly, and he did. He actually let him by with lots of room to spare. Jonathan Parker leading by 5.5 seconds over Michael Kruger. But going back to your point, pit strategy, you know, we typically don't see cautions at road courses. I did mention that we could see some tonight, but well, here we go. Michael Kruger coming down pit road. Looks like Cheney is going to come down pit road as well.
Yeah, I was just watching him battle with Austin McGill for 5th, and something happened. I'm going to go back and look at replay. Cheney has parked it completely behind the wall now, but he went straight on through the front straightaway, or the back straightaway chicane, and just pulled it to pit road. And that driver of that 76 is out of his car and out of the race.
Well, guys, one thing I want to bring up though, for this lap that these guys, some of these guys are pitting, they're what 2 laps short of fuel from making it on the end. They would have to pit at least 2 more times on that fuel mileage. While some of these guys going a little bit further might only have to pit 1 more time.
Jonathan Parker coming in. Now, way back in 2018, not in a league race, but iRacing official series, NASCAR iRacing series. So this layout of the track, I was spotting for a driver named Braden Hill, and you hear me mention all the time, I'm not a crew chief. I don't make decisions or calls for what to do, when to pit, anything strategy. So, I was just spotter. Braden was driver, and he made a call to pit an extra time. And, he was behind the 8 ball because of pitting an extra time, spending that time down pit road. But he was flying through the field, took the lead with a couple of laps to go, and won the race. So for some of these drivers, they might not be worried about, having an extra pit stop than others.
Yeah, absolutely, Josh. We've seen the disparity in some of the field. These guys are running way different lap times, but I think it might be interesting, of course, to see how the rest of the field's going to shake out with that situation. If it becomes a point with some of these guys, maybe it might even shake up our spots in the top 5 with how close everyone was in the top 5. And speaking of our battle in the top 5, Michael Kruger stayed out in front of. Came out right behind Jonathan Parker off pit road. We have another spin at the exit of the bus stop. The bus stop on the end of the back straightaway. It is once again Jimmy Monch, the 94 car. And we see Pacey Wygant is now in front of Michael Kruger the way they have cycled out here.
So right now, out of the drivers in the top 5, the only one that has come down pit road is Jonathan Parker. So Ethan Fonseca Moreno, Braden Bolt, Austin J. McGill, and Pacey Wygant still need to come down pit road.
Sorry, Josh. I'm not so sure, though, if we missed something with Kruger, because he was not too far behind Jonathan Parker, and now he is 13 seconds back behind him. Do you have any ideas about that, Jonathan?
I didn't see anything abnormal, but I could certainly go back and look here to see what had maybe happened.
Michael Kruger on the bumper of Pacey Wygant. Now looking to the inside.
Such a difficult corner to show the nose and try to make anything happen, because you go uphill and then right back downhill, and it's sweeping right-hander the entire time.
Wygant's going to stay wide here. Now tucked down into line. Kruger struggling to make that pass.
Ooh, Adam, I was able to go find out what happened to Michael Kruger. The lap that he came out behind Jonathan Parker, he took the Turtles for a ride on that back straightaway chicane, and it ultimately ended up with him spinning.
It's gonna
That's
make
why
it,
we see him back here in this position.
yeah, and he made a pretty easy pass right there on Pacey Wagon to the 5th position, now back inside the top 5. Thanks, Jonathan. I knew there was something there because he came out of the pits, like you mentioned, behind Jonathan Parker, about 3 seconds behind as he goes for another slide off of turn 2. But then I noticed when I looked back up and saw he was 13 seconds back behind him and still trying to make up time now as he sits still right about there behind that 92 car.
Our leader is actually going to be bringing it down this time by the 43. Moreno going to surrender the lead. See how this strategy pans out for him. He went much longer than Parker did, but will his fresh tires compared to Parker's now slightly used tires help him gain a little bit of an advantage? As Jonathan Parker crosses the line, to see Moreno has yet to enter his box. Moreno is going to be a big mountain to climb for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be a huge gap. Parker. About 15 seconds, but Moreno is ahead of Michael Kruger.
He stayed out here about, give or take, 5 to 10 laps extra compared to the other drivers he was racing around. So now, if you're Moreno, you need to make quick work of Austin McGill, and you need to get on the road to chasing down Jonathan Parker with that fresh set of tires that you have now.
Austin McGill still yet to come down the road. He might be trying the one-stop strategy. If he can make it just a couple more laps, it'll put him halfway.
A couple more laps isn't going to come, Josh, because he is coming this time. But as we've seen before, you put this 99 in a position where he can try to save fuel on a road course. He's one of the few in the field that knows how to do it. He could still possibly one-stop it.
Well, Snyder's slow. Moreno and Kruger able to get around Snyder.
Oh, Braden Holt going to go for a slide right in front of Austin McGill as Austin McGill was coming off a pit road. But he gets it back straight and keeps it going.
Jimmy Mensch actually went through a little slide as well. Missed the front stretch chicane right in front of your race leader, Jonathan Parker. But I don't think it threw Parker off his line at all. Parker was still able to get on by cleanly. And no issues out of that 92. As far as speed, though, between your top two drivers, Parker actually faster than Moreno the last time by. But it's about 13 and a half seconds back between Parker and Moreno. Catching Cole Snyder. This will be for position. Actually, I say that. Cole Snyder has actually gotten around Jose Ruiz.
And Cole Snyder should be bringing it down pit road right here this lap.
He does. Pacey Wygen makes a move on Jamil Hawkins. Hawkins going to try to get back by Pacey Wygen. This is for 6th position. Hawkins backed out of it.
Yeah, there were a couple of times where Jamil looked to be a little bit stronger than Pacey, with the way Pacey was just kind of sending that car through that center of that front straightaway chicane as we see Cole Snyder blend back into traffic here. But Jamil Hawkins tried putting up that fight, and once he got into turn 1, he thought, this isn't worth it to go side by side into the hard turn like that, and is going to ride in line here and try and continue to put down laps here as we get just past halfway in this race.
Oh no, Mikey.
Not again, that's that same corner.
Oh man.
Oh, wow! Josh, I think we need to take a look at that one from our camera guy there, standing there. He got all 4 off the ground there.
Camera guy didn't even flinch.
So different.
Well, we are just past halfway in this race. Jonathan Parker, Ethan Fonseca Marino, Michael Kruger, Austin J. McGill, and Braden Holt's top 5. We're going to step away. But don't worry, not going to miss anything as we go side by side.
Hey guys, it's Jonathan from JCTV. Here at JCTV, we currently broadcast 3 series. On Tuesdays, you'll catch the Slide Job Racing League featuring drivers such as Dalton Kilroe, Dane Cruz, and Jonathan Parker.
And real quick, we are 3 wide for the race lead. Hawkins, Wygen, Hapiak, they went 4 wide for a moment with a lap car.
On Fridays, you'll see the NAOR series featuring Nick Hapiak, Chris Wright, and Josh Arnold. As that happens, here comes the 5 through the middle right now. He's going to force the issue and take it
4
3
wide! 4 wide!
God.
What a move by Justin Durand to go to the race lead!
On Saturdays, you can find the In the Pit News Truck Series featuring Justin Durand, Zach Probst, and Ethan Fonseca Moreno. To book JCTV for your own league, please visit us at jctvracing.com and contact us for your booking. Remember, race fans, you can always watch racing live or anytime over at JCTV's YouTube channel.
Hapiak, who has an advantage over Meredith and Parker.
the 18's going to pull down low. He's going to clear low. And I think it's going to do it. Andrew Chapman is leading the race, coming to 3 and 4 for the final time. How about that to open the season? Andrew Chapman's going to win it here at Atlanta.
And it is going to be career win number 3, Kyle Tubbs.
For the lead, we're going to be 3 wide for the lead.
Oh, man, this is tight.
Welcome back here at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the NAOR series on the Roval. We're going to interview one of our drivers here in the race tonight under green flag competition. Since everything's spread out a little bit, let's talk to 11th place runner Jose Ruiz, on track competing right now with Nick Hapiak. Jose, what's it like on track right now in the Roval? It's kind of beat up there on that right front of your 23.
Yeah, I just hit it going into that last corner, so I have a meatball, so I'm just going to wait until it kicks me off. But I'm not much of a road course racer, especially here at the Roval. I don't think these cars belong on this track. It's too flat, but I mean, it's loose, it's tight. I locked up my tires a couple times and could not turn the car after that. So you lock them up, don't do that. But I don't know. I feel like this would be fun if I was a road course racer and I was actually decent at this, but I'm not, so I don't know. I may be okay at a couple of them, but Roval is definitely not on my list of favorite tracks to go after or to race on, as I see smoke coming out of the back end of my car. So, but yeah, I don't know. Oh, and I just blew up. well, I was having fun for what it was. My first road course race on my direct drive wheel, and it's a handful. It's fun, but it's a handful. But yeah, other than that, I don't know. You got to have a knack for road coursing to really enjoy it. But I mean, depends how you look at it. I had fun until I just blew my motor. But other than that, so I definitely got to put in practice a lot more. But other than that, having fun doing that. So I'm just looking forward to the rest of the season now.
Yeah, so you say looking forward to the rest of the season. Unfortunately, meatball flags has been the theme of the night tonight with the attrition. So going forward, what's going to be the biggest motivation to go forward and try and finish great in these races ahead?
I haven't really looked at the schedule yet, but I imagine there's probably tracks I've gone to before in these cars. These cars are a lot different than the next gen, which I kind of got used to, and then coming back to these old cars, it's a bit different. Dirty air plays a lot more than in the next gen cars, but I mean, other than that, just season wise, just go and just be consistent throughout my finishes. I missed last week because I was busy, so hopefully, I mean, maybe get a top 10 in points. It's hard making Friday leagues, but other than that, I mean, shout out to J-Paw for putting this on for everybody. I spun him out earlier in the race, so I did apologize to him. So he knows I don't wreck people normally, so for me to do that, I felt bad. But I mean, yeah. With that being said, just looking forward to the rest of the season, and hopefully get some decent finishes.
All right, thank you, Jose, for your time. Good luck next week.
All right, thanks.
And by next week, I mean 2 weeks from now, because we don't race next week. But that was Jose Ruiz, driver of the 23. Fortunately, blew up while he was talking to us with the attrition. And speaking while he was talking to us, we had a moment there almost with Justin Quimby getting lapped around a race leader, and also just a moment ago, Austin J. McGill going off course slightly.
Yeah, McGill has caught up to Michael Kruger. And, I was going to say, looking to try to make a pass, but got those turtles heading into one.
Kruger went wide right there. That's going to allow McGill to have another run to his rear bumper. And Kruger sliding, trying to save it. Kruger's going to go wide. McGill's a little wide. Kruger's off in the wall. And yet again, is that the 3 again? Or no, that's the 47. That was Zach Wright. Also going off track and spinning around.
A lot going on at once here, guys. We're getting about 2 or 3 laps, I think, away from the pit window for these guys. And another car spun it once again. The 3 of Justin Quimby in the Harpoon tune this time.
Yeah, Quimby, he lost his hood.
You know, guys, I talked earlier about...
Sorry for cutting you off. Michael Kruger down pit road. Go ahead, John.
I talked earlier, as Adam brings up the pit window, about a driver that could possibly try to save some fuel and maybe make it a little interesting for these guys up front. But from what I've seen out of Austin McGill, he has not held back one bit. I mean, Josh, you and I talked about it during the break. This driver, this 99, is just absolutely trying to fly around this track as quickly as he can, not holding anything back. Made up time to Kruger. Now he's got like basically 40 seconds almost, or actually 30 seconds to Ethan Moreno, and then another 40 or another 10 seconds added to get to Jonathan Parker. So as much as we would all probably like to see the 99 hold back here and make things interesting with a strategy call, I don't think he's going to have the chance to do it with the gap that he's facing.
And speaking of the strategy call that I was bringing up on that last, and everyone's going to pretty much, I think, be able to make it. It might be close for Michael Kruger to make it on this tank of gas, but I think with everyone staying out a little bit longer like they are now and coming in about this time, it's going to be pretty much close right now to hit your window. I believe Ethan Fonseca Moreno is our second driver of our lead block contenders to come down and hit pits.
Indeed, Moreno is sitting in the pit, getting his service, trying to see if he can pull an undercut to Jonathan Parker. We've seen him do this plenty of times, but Parker somehow makes it work, because Parker's going to come down this time. Ooh, and I panned back to the 99 of McGill, and he just caught the wall coming out of a corner just before you get to oval 1 and 2.
Jonathan Parker hasn't made it into his box. Even Fonseca Moreno is still in the infield section. Now Parker is rolling, so it's going to be a huge difference between these two.
And even more of an important note, McGill unable to make up the ground that he was already lost to Jonathan Parker. McGill still behind Parker. Parker actually made it out ahead of McGill.
That's impressive. Michael Kruger stopped.
And yet again, Josh, that same corner, and he had destroyed the front end of that 98 JCTV Ford and went for a ride. Let's check out our camera guy's view of it.
Oh! Oof. Oh, right in front of me. Moreno.
Yeah, he did a good job with a quick vision there of 98 just parked right in front of him. It's a real shame, guys. We know how fast he is on the road courses and how good he was doing in the first half of this race, keeping up in that top 5 and being one of our contenders. But unfortunately, a little mistake after a little mistake, and it just went away from him tonight.
Well, guys, we're getting ready to really start the countdown here with about 13 laps to go. And McGill still has yet to pit. Still running solidly in that second position.
McGill's going to be able to make it close to the end. I just don't think he will have enough.
And Josh, as you know, even if he could and he did, right now it would only notch him a P2 as he's actually going to pull it down this time. But looking at the gap, he's going to be close to Moreno depending on what he does here on this pit stop. Again, we talk about McGill and what he did at Suzuka last season. McGill could have a strategy call here.
It's like Ford tires, Ford driver the 99. He's off and away, still P2.
Braden Holt coming around the corner to enter the infield right now. He's being scored in third. And Moreno is still behind Holt. So McGill able to capitalize on running it a little longer. And he is going to come off P2.
Holt still has to come down pit road. You see he has no front end at all. That Chevy is beat up. Kind of looks like we're racing at Martinsville, not Charlotte.
Oh, man, just up ahead of them, McGill had a big moment coming into that chicane. I wonder, Josh, could you get a replay of that save? It was close, I'll tell you that.
Man. Look out those turtles. Sounds like the story of the race so far. Just drivers catching the turtles and leading into a lot of issues. Fonseca Marino has caught up to Ray Cole. Marino's going to look to the inside. And Hull's going to go into the wall. Looks like he's struggling to turn. Let's go to Ethan Fonseca Marino in P3. Justin Quimby having issues on the front stretch chicane. Going to be right in front of Austin J. McGill. McGill goes to the outside. No time lost there. Great move. Hull brings it down pit road. This race has been very heavily dominated by a driver number 92, Jonathan Parker. And you know what's crazy to me is the fact that he has won 3 of the 4 races we have ran so far, and looking like it's going to be 4 out of the first 5 races. If he can hold on for another 9 laps, that is absolutely insane. I knew Parker was good. I didn't think he would be able to hold this off.
Yeah, and it's super impressive because all the different types of tracks and this lead he is building in this race right now, and it's 36 seconds right now, but I think it's going to be much greater than that right now with the way everything's going on right now with McGill probably having to pit or save fuel right now, and Ethan Moreno sitting at 48 seconds back.
I don't know if you were here when we discussed it, but Austin McGill actually pitted and came out in the 2nd spot. And he's currently outrunning Ethan Moreno and cutting time into Parker's lead, even though it's not going to be enough time left for him to chase him down still. If you watch Austin McGill, he looks like a Red Bull stunt driver going through this chicane that he's coming up to.
Okay, I misunderstood the situation from the strategy you guys were talking about, sorry.
Let's take a ride on board for a lap with McGill. it's just absolutely insane to see how much he is pushing that car, and you know, not driving off track, not hitting the walls. And I'll tell you, if I tried doing that, I probably would have made it 2 laps, maybe.
And in that ride along right there, Josh, that's what I'm talking about, where McGill just looks like he's a Red Bull stunt driver going through that back straightaway chicane. I mean, takes the turtles head on, no fear, goes into the corner sideways and holds on to it in a car that really was never known for being very savable. McGill just out here absolutely putting on a show. I mean, if you don't like watching this driver go around the track, even whether he's leading or not, if you don't like seeing him go around the track, that I don't know what you're watching.
Well, guys, I have a little bit of an update. I'm not 100% sure what's going on, but the driver of the number 43 is sitting up pit road right now. Ethan Fonseca Moreno. He was running third just a moment ago. He is now currently P6, and Josh Arnold is somewhere on track. Gonna lap him pretty soon or pass him pretty soon if Moreno's not able to get back out there. And actually, Josh Arnold just in front of this right here. Justin Quimby goes wide, gonna allow Jonathan Parker to get on by. And Josh Arnold is now just ahead of Jonathan Parker. Moreno still sitting out pit road, so I'm wondering if he got a lot of damage. And maybe he has to get required repairs, which would be what the meatball is if you're unfamiliar with that. It means you have required repairs, and it looks like a meatball in the corner of your screen. So, tough break there for Ethan Fonseca Moreno, who is currently still losing positions. He was doing really good too. 5 to go though for Jonathan Parker in what has been just an absolute masterclass perfection. 92.
Josh, just to reflect on the driver you were talking about, I went back, did some investigating, and honestly, I don't see any wrecks happening, but I think the driver of the 43 started not seeing other cars on the track, having some connection issues, major time lost on track, and blinks happening. So I think Ethan's internet just got the best of him here tonight, and that's going to cause him to all but retire the car.
It's an unfortunate situation there.
Unfortunate, but the good news is it's going to come in a race like this where so few starters and so few finishes with all the attrition. He's still top 10 barely with this, with only 9 finishes at this rate.
Yeah, everybody else outside of the top 10 has retired. So the only driver that has an opportunity to pass Moreno is going to be the driver of the 3, Justin Quimby, who's still powering out there.
Yeah, we've seen this 3 see it without a hood, like you mentioned earlier, Josh. Seen it caught up in a few incidents, like a lot of other drivers tonight. Still trying to go out there before he gets his meatball flag and before his engine finally expires, if it is going to expire in the last 4 laps. But like you mentioned, going to try out here and gain at least 2 on Ethan Moreno and get a position there.
There's really not any battling going on. No one is close to Jonathan Parker or Austin J. McGill. top two. Pacey Wygen is in NASCAR 1 right now. About 9 seconds ahead of Jonathan Parker. But I don't think Parker's going to be able to pass Wygen without any mistakes to put Wygen a lap down. So Jonathan Parker coming through the backstretch chicane. Pretty much been perfect all night.
Hey, perfect, Josh. I don't see a scratch, a dent, a crinkle, anything on this 92. It looks like he's basically just pulled the car off the trailer and it hasn't even run almost 50 laps around this road course.
Yeah, and that's always a theme with Jonathan Parker. He always prides himself on running clean races and not making contact with other drivers and not getting any damage on his car and just having a clean race no matter the result. But of course, finishing first is obviously a great achievement, the goal he sets out to do every night. But that's just a little bit of a bonus for him, is just to bring the car home in one piece and do it without a single scratch. And another thing, guys, that we've kind of pointed out a couple times, but 3 lead lap cars right now, and Pacey Wygen is over a minute behind.
Adam, you talked about the attrition rate for this race, but you got to give a shout out to the driver of that 00. I mean, Josh and I discussed the news for his sponsor that he has on the car, and it was very, very sad news, but I think it's going to soften the blow here tonight with him getting to bring it home in a P3 position and have something to kind of celebrate a little bit.
So the white flag is waving. One more lap for Jonathan Parker here at the Charlotte Roval. Ida Fonseca Marino has gotten out of pit road and is actually riding just behind Jonathan Parker. Parker through the infield section into NASCAR 1 and 2 for the final time. Down into the backstretch chicane. He just needs to make it through one more chicane. And the checkered flag is waving. 4 wins in the first 5 races of the season. Jonathan Parker, what a season he has so far.
And how about the gap he had? I mean, Austin McGill is still just now getting into Oval 3 and 4.
Yeah, we're gonna have plenty of time to call each of these lead lap finishers. Tell the checkered flag here, like you mentioned, with this gap and McGill coming through that front straightaway chicane.
Looks like he might have had a slowdown.
.39.5 seconds behind the race winner. Wow.
Pacey Wygen now enters Oval 3 and 4. Sad news with that Sophia the Fierce on the side of the car. Our hearts go out to that family and to Pacey for all the heartache that they've gone through, but he's going to bring it home here for P3 here tonight. Do it in style.
Great job to Pacey Wygen bringing it home third. Jonathan Parker come through the chicane. Complete the cool down lap. See if he starts to burn it down. I think he's going to pull a Chase Elliott here. So, before we get to interview Jonathan Parker, let's go ahead and go through our finishing order. So, taking the win, of course, Jonathan Parker. Austin J. McGill bringing it home P2. Pacey Wygent will bring it home third. Braden Holt fourth. And Jamil Hawkins will finish in fifth. Holt and Hawkins both 1 lap down. Adam?
Joshua Arnold brought it home in P6, while Zachary Wright finished in 7th. Nicholas Hapiak crossed the line in 8th. Justin Quimby ended the day in 9th, and Ethan Fonseca Moreno, 6 laps down, was our first retiree in 10th. Jonathan?
Michael Kruger is going to finish 15 laps down in that 11th position. Jose Ruiz is going to bring it home 20 laps down after we watched him blow his engine in that 12th position. Cole Snyder going to bring it home 13th. John Osborne 14th. Jimmy Minch going to bring it home in the 15th position. Kelly Cheney going to park it in 16th. Mike Campbell 17th. Hunter Peach 18th. And then our non-starters here tonight, Brian Underwood, Zach Meredith, Noah Blackwell, and Joshua did not start.
Well, let's go ahead and talk to our race winner. And Canfield, you know what? Why don't you go ahead and conduct this interview?
All right, well, Mr. Jonathan Parker bringing it home with that Dak Prescott charity on the car. And, well, not really much of a road course guy, but you sure as heck look like one here tonight. Go ahead and, first of all, congratulations. Tell us how it was.
Thank you, John. I don't know. I had no idea I had that in the tank. Like you said, I don't do road course racing a lot at all, and I was dreading this. I said it last week. I was like, I'm probably aren't going to be talking to me because I just dread road courses. But I don't know. I got a load cell over the past week. Maybe that helped me. What better way to get it broken than a track where you do a lot of trail braking and a lot of hard braking. So yeah, I was just trying not to kill myself in that backstretch chicane because I swear it was RNG whether you flew or not. It was so treacherous. But yeah, I was just trying to keep it calm and cool all day, and I guess the long run pace prevailed.
Well, long run pace you had, but you just had pace overall, my friend. I mean, coming down to the end there, you had about a 40-second gap to Austin McGill, and I mean, the dude was absolutely flying, and he still only cut you down about 4 seconds. So, you know, first of all, just how did the car feel on this track? You talk about the turtles. Was that your number one worry spot, or were there other spots that you were looking like, felt like you were in danger at?
Yeah, that backstretch chicane totally was the curveball. I didn't expect to be running that one, this version of the track. I don't think any of us did. It was a little bit of a boo-boo, but that's okay. we rolled with the punches, and but the car and the setup, I know some people didn't really like it, but man, I just got to give a shout out to the 750 horsepower car because that's a lot of fun to drive. I feel like I can do a lot more in the car, a lot more with my feet to kind of get more pace out of it. And that's what I love. Obviously, I'm not a big fan of the 550 package. Y'all have heard me bitch and moan about it. But the 750 package, for as bad as that 550 is, the 750 package makes up for it. And yeah, it was just a lot of thought of control, and the setup was pretty loose. And you know what they say, loose is fast. So I kind of enjoyed it. I know other people didn't really enjoy it that much, and I can't say I blame them because it was a little on the wild side. But for me, it just kind of fit me.
Have an off week next week, but when we come back on June the 2nd, we're going to Dega. What, I feel like I already know your answer to this question, but what do you got for Dega?
What do you think my answer is going to be since you know it? I might shock you a little bit.
The plate track, you don't need any skill, all luck.
No, I actually love the plate tracks with this car. It's so much fun. The only car I like it more with is the next gen, believe it or not. It's so much fun. The runs you get are insane. You can side draft the ever living hell out of people. I can't wait for that. Obviously, a lot of these guys are going to the Coke 600, and I hope they have a lot of fun because it's a great track to be at, and hope they have fun. But yeah, once we get back for Talladega, oh my, I'm actually really pumped. I was more excited for Dega than I was for this. And Dega, of course, it's unpredictable, but I'm just gonna go out there and try to have some fun. That's all you can really do at Talladega, because if you go in there dreading it, you're probably gonna have a shitty day. I'm not gonna go in there and dread it. I really love those. Even with those giant ass spoilers, I do like the package a lot. I'm excited for it.
All right. Well, final thing before we let you go. Go ahead, shout out those sponsors and all the people you got to thank that got you in victory lane here tonight.
I gotta thank C2 Graphics Cameron. I always forget this. He made this paint scheme and it looks great. It's based off Jimmy's All-Tail car from his Busch days. Like you pointed out, this is Dak Prescott's foundation on the car. He won the Walter Payton Man of the Year award for the work he does with this charity. And if you want to just go there, see what they're about, go to their website, faithfightfinish.org. That's faithfightfinish.org if you want to see what they're about. Maybe donate if you like what they're all about. And I think Mikey and Ethan, I know they didn't have the days that they wanted, but I couldn't have figured out these road courses without them because I fucking suck at this. And they turned some oval guy into a pretty okay road racer. So I appreciate Mikey and Ethan, and I feel really good for Ethan. He had some internet issues, and just his race kind of went downhill from there. So he's gonna have some luck soon, and once he starts clicking off wins, he's gonna be real hard to beat. But yeah, I think that's about it.
All right. Well, your race winner here tonight, Jonathan Parker. Jonathan, go celebrate that win, and we will see you tomorrow night when you're in the booth.
Hell yeah, I'm excited. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Jonathan.
And that was your race winner, Jonathan Parker. Pretty excited after that win. But, yeah, you know, one thing he mentioned is that Coke 600 next week, a lot of these guys go into it, including myself. I'm actually really excited, and those guys are going together, meeting up. They did the same thing last year for the fall Bristol race. I'm not really going with them. I'm kind of just going to be with one of my good friends. But I'm definitely going to meet up with those guys, with these guys here, and I think we're going to have an absolute blast. It would be really nice to meet them, and I've talked before how I go far back with a lot of these guys. Back when the NAOR series was on the console days, you know, I raced with these guys a lot. So I'll tell you, I'm really looking forward to that, meeting these guys next week at Charlotte for the Coke 600. But yeah, what a race we saw. This race caution-free all the way to the end. 3 drivers finishing on the lead lap. A lot of chaos. A lot of issues from drivers. Some drivers hitting the turtles. Pretty hard. But Jonathan Parker, he was the most perfect one tonight.
Yeah, he did a great job. It was pretty fun to see everyone else trying to navigate that racetrack and try to survive the race through the attrition, like I kept mentioning and like we all kept saying. And Jonathan Parker pretty excited there to get that win, and we heard it in that interview. He put on pretty thrilling performance just to dominate like that and cruise to a strong victory with how huge of a lead he had there at the end.
Well, that's going to about wrap things up for us here from the Charlotte Roval. Tomorrow night, the BSR Independence News Truck Series takes on Michigan International Speedway. I am excited for that so much. And then next week, we've got 2 Talladega races. And I'm not forgetting it tonight. MF Racing Design Sled Job Racing League takes on Talladega, as well as on Thursday, the SAAC Coast to Coast Cup Series takes on Talladega, and then Di9 Designs NAOR Series and BSR Independence News Truck Series are both off for Memorial Day weekend. So next time that NAOR returns is 2 weeks time from tonight at Talladega. I'm looking forward to that. I love Talladega. So, we'll catch you guys then. If you don't tune in to another broadcast beforehand, if you do, we'll see you tomorrow night at Michigan International Speedway. You can catch myself, hopefully driving the number 42 JCTV truck up front and trying to compete for a win at my home track. That wraps it up for us here at the Charlotte Roval. Thank you guys for tuning in. Everybody for what they do, putting this league on. Adam Kuhn, Jonathan Canfield, and the entire outstanding crew at JCTV. I'm Josh Copperl saying so long. We'll see you next time.